Good evening, I'm Camden Cohn, and this is our Sports Ticker. Lots of Nebraska football news today, starting with the announcement that John Butler is the new secondary coach and pass game coordinator. Butler comes to Nebraska after spending the past 6 seasons with the Buffalo Bills. Overall, he has 29 seasons of coaching experience, including 19 years in college and 10 in the NFL. Husker football also announced who would be headed to Indianapolis for Big Ten football media days. Ben Scott, Isaac Gifford, and Ty Robinson will join head coach Matt Rule. Nebraska will speak to the media on July 24th, along with Iowa, Michigan State, Penn State, USC, and UCLA. Nebraska football also announced their 2024 Hall of Fame inductees today. 6 former Huskers were selected to the class: Kevin Leitner, Tyrone Bird, Terrell Farley, Chris Kelsey, Jared Crick, and Rex Burkhead. The Nebraska Football Hall of Fame Board also selected former Husker Monty Johnson from the Legends category, and the state college representative is Mike Miller from UNK. For more information on each of these players, visit Huskers.com. Former Nebraska basketball player Bryce McGowan signed a 2-way contract with the Portland Trail Blazers today, where he joins another former Husker, Delano Banton. And finally, Nebraska basketball officially released their non-conference schedule today. The Huskers will play 5 of their 11 non-con games on the road or at neutral sites. The schedule is highlighted by home games against South Dakota and North Florida, a game at Creighton, and a neutral site game against St. Mary's. To see the full schedule for the non-conference, visit Huskers.com. Hour 1 of Sports Nightly is up next, right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Here come the Razorbacks bumping over the left. Gillen, she's stopped. Rick Allen, block number 11 for the team 16. They're body bumping in Lincoln.
Dillon turns, hands it off to Dowdell, left side, bounces to the outside, 40, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown, Dante Dowdell.
Shelley throws down low. Markowski kicks it out to Jazz, knocked away by Marshall. 7 to shoot, 6 to shoot. Shelley for 3. You betcha! Huskers take their first lead of the game with 30 seconds left.
Here's the 2-2 pitch.
Called strike 3. Breaking ball outside corner. Make it an even 10 for McConaughey, and the Hoosiers leave 2 more here in the top of the 7th.
Now the 3-2, and Bretwell swings and hammers it deep center field. She's gone! Home run, Eva Bretwell, and a 2-0 lead for the Cornhuskers.
Tominaga with 9, 8, 7, starts down the right side, goes to the right sideline, 4 seconds, step back, 30-footer. Got it! Unbelievable! I don't believe what I just saw. Tominaga knocks it home.
Here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
Thank you. Welcome to our final show of the week. Hope you've had a good week to this point in time. We've got a heck of a show lined up for you tonight. We're going to continue our position breakdowns. We'll talk linebackers with Rob Dvoracek coming up here in just a couple of minutes. An interesting unit that's going to have some different names on the field this year after the graduations of Luke Reimer and Nick Henrich from last year's team. So we'll hear all about that group coming up here in just a couple of minutes. Andrew Morgan, get used to that name. He's one of the new basketball players for Fred Hoiberg, a transfer from North Dakota State, and a fascinating young man. We're going to hear from him coming up in hour number 2. And we'll talk some Hall of Fame. Mary Weatherholt, who was a Big Ten singles champion on the tennis court back in 2014. She's a member of this Hall of Fame class. Cam that had a chance to catch up with her. We'll have that for you coming up in hour number 2 as well. And our text line wide open for you if you want to be a part of the program with a thought, 402-413-2400. Well, Jess, we got some answers today to some questions we've been kind of throwing out there the last couple of nights. One of those being who would be representing the Cornhuskers at Big Ten Media Days. Camden just mentioned that it's Ben Scott, Ty Robinson, and Isaac Gifford. Surprised at all by those 3?
No, I think those are all 3 that we had mentioned that would probably be it. Not surprised at all by Isaac Gifford. I mean, he's just been rock star leader coming back and just has been the ultimate, I guess, team guy, and now has stepped it up on the field as well. And he's a good interview. I always like talking to Isaac too. And then Ty Robinson is one of the higher, I guess, rated guys in terms of the next level, and also great interview. And then Ben Scott, that's the center. It all starts with him, and we heard Coach Raiola talking about him stepping into the leadership role as well, not just for the offensive line room, but for the entire team. So 3 great leaders, and also 3 really, really important, impactful football players. So you're getting both ends of the spectrum with those 3 guys for sure.
It's an honor to be picked to go there. I mean, you've got a lot of national media that will be in Indianapolis for that day. They run them through a car wash, which means they basically go from interview session to interview session to interview session, and all the networks are there to do these interviews. So it's an honor to get to go do that, and you want people that represent your program well. Obviously, Matt Rule has a heavy hand in who gets selected to go to this, and he should. So great honor for those 3 guys, and they've been 3 pillars of this program, and so happy for all 3 of them, and I think that they'll be excited, and they'll represent Nebraska and Nebraska football in a big way. So that's really cool that those 3 are going to be headed that way in a couple of weeks to Indianapolis. The Big Ten is one of the last conferences to do their media days. The Big 12 is now over. It was earlier this week in Las Vegas. Next week you'll hear a lot about the SEC media days. They'll go on for about 4 days. And then the ACC and the Big Ten are kind of together in some ways. We're kind of at the tail end of that. And then once that is over, it's report to camp day on the 30th, first practice on the 31st. So it just gets sped up and gets going at a very fast race after that time. But happy for all those guys to be headed to Indy in a couple of weeks. Well, last night, some people were getting nervous. Jessica on John Butler. We tried to calm them down last night, going, pump the brakes. It's going to be fine. They have to go through some compliance tests and some of the background checks and all that thing before they can officially be announced. But you and I were hearing the same thing, that it was good to go, and John was even on campus. So it was official this afternoon that John Butler is the new defensive backs coach. What a resume, and what a guy that, and I think I said this the other night, everybody that's playing college football believes they're going to play in the NFL. So to play for a guy that has coached in the NFL as long as John Butler has, what an opportunity for them to learn from him and try to get their game where they might be NFL football players someday. So I think it's a terrific hire by Matt Rule, and a veteran guy to add to this staff.
Yeah, I think it's a great fit. And when you talk about this program and being built upon and a lot of the principles that they brought from the NFL, and how they are teaching guys to be pros and how to handle themselves in all aspects of being a football player, not just development on the field, but how they take care of their bodies, and the big emphasis that they put on that, the nutrition part of it, all things that play such a huge factor into how long and how you can, well, first of all, to get there, to get to the NFL, but then how long you can actually play an NFL career. So all of that goes along with it is a lot of the messaging too that I hear from recruits a lot when we're chatting with them leading up to signing day, just about, the possibilities of how they can help them get and understand what it takes to get to the next level. I mean, it's basically every college football player's dream, and I understand that not everybody's going to get there, but a lot of those recruits, that's a big selling point, is getting to the NFL. And certainly this staff knows what it takes because they were just there. And so you add another element to that of a guy that hasn't just been there for a couple years, has been there for a long time, has had has proven track record. And then not to mention, you can do a quick search and see a lot of different interviews and articles that have been written about him that his players absolutely love him. So, here's a veteran guy that, it's going to be quick turnaround to get here, get to know the guys and understand them. But we talked about this last night, the staff, the defensive staff that's already here, how cohesive they already are. They're going to be able to help him along in understanding how things are done and getting to know those guys. And then he's done it a time or two. So I think this was an ideal hire when you're talking about replacing somebody like Evan Cooper this time of year. I hadn't mentioned this either, but I know a lot of people are concerned about the talent evaluation part of it, and that kind of stuff that Evan Cooper did, finding some of those diamonds in the rough. I tell you a guy who is starting to do the same, and we have seen it already in some of the battles that they've had on which room they're in is Garrett McGuire I know they've talked about his eye for that, and he is a grinder as well. And so I think, in terms of the type of athlete that Evan Cooper understands that they want to have, and working with Coach Rule for so long, they've got some other guys on the staff that I think understand that too, and are willing to do those deep dives and trying to find some of those diamonds in the rough too.
That's a great point. Matt Rule's comment today on John Butler says John is one of the premier defensive backs coaches in football. He's got a diverse coaching background, a history of being a part of winning organizations and elite defenses at the highest level. He'll be an outstanding addition to the Nebraska football program and our defensive staff. I'm not going to understate it that he's been with the Bills, who have been one of the premier teams of the National Football League for the last 5-6 years. So he's been around excellence at the highest level. The Bills have not been able to get to the Super Bowl. That's because the Chiefs have Patrick Mahomes, and right now that's the guy. But they haven't been able to get over that hump, but they've been really, really good. And John Butler's been a part of that, was at Penn State at one point in time as well. So I think a great late addition to the staff for the Huskers, and made official today by Husker Athletics. So for all those of you that were worrywarts last night, you can pump the brakes. It's all good. And he is in tow, and now I believe he's even on campus and has met with some of the guys on the team up until this point. Wanted to quickly mention some sad news. Monty Kiffin, talking about a great defensive mind. Monty passed away today down in Oxford, Mississippi. Our younger audience probably knows that's Lane Kiffin's dad. Monty, though, was a defensive coordinator at Nebraska in the 70s, part of those national championship teams in 70-71 for the Cornhuskers, then went on to the National Football League and made his mark in the NFL with some great defenses down through the years. So one of the great all-time great defensive football coaches, Monty Kiffin, and with strong Nebraska ties, grew up in the state, grew up out in Lexington, sadly passed away earlier today at the age of 84. So I know he hasn't been associated with the Husker program for several decades, but certainly was a part of a glorious decade of the 70s with Bob Devaney as the head coach. So some sad news there on Monty Kiffin. We're going to kind of keep the defensive theme going, because coming up here in a few minutes, going to hear from Rob Dvoracek, the linebackers coach for the Cornhuskers, as we continue our position breakdowns. Do want to tell you first, though, that you need to go check out the all-new Hy-Vee Perks program. Get signed up for the totally free Hy-Vee Perks program and enjoy exclusive perks pricing on hundreds of items in-store and online. Score big savings today at Hy-Vee.com/perks. Hy-Vee is an official grocer partner of Husker Athletics and your one-stop shop for making your life easier, healthier, and happier. Go visit your local Hy-Vee today. We're back. Jessica will sit down with Rob Dvoracek. That's next.
Hi, I'm a baseball umpire. My job can get pretty stressful. I have to keep my eyes open at all times, and if I don't make the right call, people boo me. So to relax, I visit a Nebraska lottery retailer like this one and buy some scratch tickets. It always calms me down. Hey, you cut in line.
I did not.
All right, you're out of here.
Hey, he didn't cut.
All right, you're out of here.
I feel better already. The Nebraska Lottery. Top prize odds vary by game.
Hi, this is Husker National Champion and Super Bowl champ Tony Veland. Throughout my football career, chiropractic care helped my athletic performance on the field and kept me in the game. Today, regular chiropractic care keeps me healthy and active to do the things I love. Chiropractic is safe and effective for all ages. Make chiropractic your first choice to reduce pain, improve your mobility, and feel better naturally. It works for me, and it can work for you too. Learn more at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Stay active with chiropractic.
Hi, I'm a baseball umpire. My job can get pretty stressful. I have to keep my eyes open at all times, and if I don't make the right call, people boo me. So to relax, I visit a Nebraska lottery retailer like this one and buy some scratch tickets. It always calms me down. Hey, you cut in line.
I did not.
All right, you're out of here.
Hey, he didn't cut.
All right, you're out of here.
I feel better already. The Nebraska Lottery. Top prize odds vary by game.
Farming today is a combination of hard work, innovation, and partnerships to help keep us moving forward. Sap Brothers Petroleum has provided us with fuel, propane, and lubricants on the farm for many years.
For over 52 years, Sap Brothers has been a reliable partner to thousands of farmers across our great state. We work hard to make sure our customers have the most reliable supply, provided in the safest manner and at the most competitive price. Trust Sap Brothers Petroleum to protect your equipment and keep your farm fueled. Sap Brothers is proud to be an official partner of Huskers Athletics and to serve serve Nebraska farmers and Husker fans across America's heartland.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks. Foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rule is bringing innovation and high-performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the same in the field by welcoming Fendt to Nebraska.
Hi, this is Husker National Champion and Super Bowl champ Tony Veland. Throughout my football career, chiropractic care helped my athletic performance on the field and kept me in the game. Today, regular chiropractic care keeps me healthy and active to do the things I love. Chiropractic is safe and effective for all ages. Make chiropractic your first choice to reduce pain, improve your mobility, and feel better naturally. It works for me, and it can work for you too. Learn more at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Stay active with chiropractic.
Welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, which is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. The Huskers will be taking the field for fall camp before you know it, and we continue our position breakdowns with the football assistant coaches. And today we're talking linebackers with Rob Dvoracek. Thanks so much for being here with us.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Can you believe it's almost fall camp time again?
No. It goes way too fast. Every year you feel like you have time, but you don't. You know, it just goes from one season to the next, but it's been fun.
I know you guys have a lot going on throughout the summer, but one of the things that's been a little bit different, I guess, this year is you can be out on the field with footballs this year, right? How has that changed? How nice has that been to be able to get out on the field with the guys this summer?
It's been great. Just honestly, just being out there with them is always fun. You know, the summer's a time I feel like you can really hone in on some technique things and fundamental things, and so we get to spend time with them doing that. We have a short amount of meeting time with them every week, so it's just been really good. You know, obviously they're focused on training and their nutrition and getting stronger with Corey and those guys, but when we have time with them, it's really important that we do the right things with them.
When we were talking to you last summer, I guess, about your group, you hadn't played a game inside the stadium here and hadn't worn the N as a coach. So as you go into year two, how do you feel different?
It feels a lot different, to be honest with you. I mean, obviously when you get here, there's a transition. You got to get to know the players. You're implementing a new system. There's a lot of new, right? And just getting your feet in the ground, getting more comfortable with the players, the system, everything that you want to do. And so it's been really good. I'm looking forward to this season because we got, you know, more experience within the room. We got some younger players that we add in, and just that experience adds value, you know, so I'm excited.
Okay, let's talk about some of your guys, and we got to start with John Bullock. Johnny B, he's now the leader in that room, and no Nick Henrich, no Luke Reimer, but both those guys really raved about John Bullock and that he seemed ready to step into that role. What's been your perspective of him and being the leader of your room?
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun with John because, you know, when we got here, he was playing safety, DB, and we moved him to the linebacker room, and last year was really him trying to figure it all out, right, and figure out what that position takes to be a great player at that position. And now he's got the experience. He played in games. He started games. So now he's in the role of like trying to help the younger guys. He's way more confident than he's ever been. He trusts himself. He knows the system. He knows exactly what to do and how to do it. So it's been fun with John and seeing him with the younger guys. I smile because it's funny to see him with the younger guys and him coaching them up and being like, what the heck are you doing, you know? So he's doing a nice job. I'm excited about John.
And then Mekhi Bayer's another guy that's returning in your room that got a lot of experience last year. What kind of step can he take going into this season?
Yeah, he's got to take a big step this year. You know, he had some experience last year. That was his first time ever playing any snaps. When I first got here a year ago, I asked him about, you know, what are his goals and things like that. And he's like, Coach, I just want to get on the field. And he had the opportunity to do that a year ago, and now it's time to advance himself to become an even better player. And so he's got shoes to fill as well and high expectations.
Okay, Javen Wright Buddha makes the move to linebacker. How has it been adding him to your group?
Good. Javen is an exceptional athlete. He's big, he's long, he can run. He came in last year, same kind of thing as John. Never played linebacker before. Came in as a corner, safety to nickel, and so we moved him to linebacker. And I've been forcing him to put weight on. You know, good weight, obviously, but it's going to be a long season, and just that transformation for him to get his body to what a linebacker needs to be able to do. And so he's done a nice job. I have really high expectations for him too, and he knows it.
What is it about his skill set that it fits at linebacker?
Well, really, honestly, everything that he does as an athlete. I mean, he can run well. He's a big guy. He's physical. He can cover in man. He can cover in zone. He's got range to him. He has a really good feel for the game. And so him playing corner to safety, really all those positions gives him a really good understanding of the whole game itself. And when you put him at linebacker, he understands the front. He understands the coverage piece. So he's got the tools. He just needs to continue to get reps and continue to get better.
Okay, let's talk about some of the guys you have coming off of redshirt freshman seasons last year. Jacob Bauer, I know Tony White had mentioned him in his press conference in the spring. What kind of jump did you see him make throughout last year?
Jake has made tremendous strides. He came in, he was probably 95 pounds, 193 pounds. When he got here, he's almost 220 pounds now. So he's really advanced in the weight room, got bigger, he's gotten stronger, he's got a really good understanding of the system and what we're trying to do. So he's gotten a lot better since he got here, and I'm excited about Jake.
And then Gage Stenger, same thing, a lot of progress made over the last year.
Yep, Gage, another guy we had moved from safety to linebacker, has put on weight, 221 pounds right now, so he's gotten a lot better. He's another guy who's athletic, has ability to play in space, and understands the game from the back end and moving him in. He's got to get adjusted playing in the box a little bit and the physical part of the game. But again, another guy that I'm really excited about.
You know, you now mentioned a few guys that you make the move for. What are the things that you guys see that think, okay, this is a guy that maybe we can move to this position and will thrive in this spot?
Yeah, I think athleticism, number one. They have the ability to cover guys, obviously playing DB. They have the ability to play in space, and then the size part to it. They're bigger guys who we've put weight on them to grow them into play into the box. So we see the traits, we see the size, we see the ability to be a physical player, and really that's what it takes, you know, to play that position.
Let's talk about some of the new additions that you have too. Stephon Thompson, the transfer from Syracuse, played a lot of ball. What did he provide to your room when you guys added him?
Yeah, he's got experience, which is valuable, and he's been in Coach White's system, obviously at Syracuse, and then he got here, and you know, it was an adjustment for him. I think we've talked about that in the past, but he's done a really good job. He's meshed with the group. He's an older guy, so the guys in the room really look up to him to find out what he knows, you know, pick his brain a little bit, and the system itself. So he's been a good addition to the room overall as a person and as a player.
Dylan Rogers was one I missed that was coming off the redshirt year. How has he progressed, and how do you like where he's at going into this year?
Yeah, Dylan has done a nice job so far. So, like, I really pushed Dylan in the spring to advance himself. Just, you know, as a freshman, you come in, you're like bright-eyed. You know, you don't really know what the heck's going on, how to practice, what to do, new system. It's a new language. So for Dylan, it was a lot of reps. He just needed to continue reps, and how we practiced in the spring was huge for him, you know, having 3 teams and rotating and do all those things. So he was just a young player, and, you know, he'll continue to get better as we move along.
The name I heard a lot throughout spring from the guys on the team that was really impressive was Vincent Shavers Jr., who came in early, the true freshman. How impressive was he just as a true freshman coming in throughout the spring?
Yeah, Vince has done a nice job. He obviously came in from Miami mid-year, another guy who put on good weight, getting bigger. He's an explosive athlete. He loves football. You know, you watch the way he plays. He's physical, he runs, he plays sideline to sideline. So I think the guys in the room respect the way that he plays, with how hard he plays and how physical he plays. And obviously when you have that ability to do that, we're going to find a role for you. And obviously you got to execute at a high level, but there's a place for guys that play that way, and we'll find a way over time to get them out there.
Roger Gradney's another true freshman. You guys moved into your room. Take me through that decision and why he fits there at linebacker.
Yeah, Roger's another guy who's like a big frame guy who runs well. He's a physical guy. He's big. So he was a guy we were like, shoot, let's move him down to linebacker. And he's still young, so he's got a lot of time to develop. So he's got a lot of learning to do because we moved him late in the spring. So I'm excited about his future as well.
For those true freshmen, though, for Vincent, Roger, what goes into maybe a true freshman playing immediately at inside linebacker?
I think obviously you got to think about their development and if they're ready to do it or not. You don't want to put them in a position where they're out there and they're not ready, whether it's mentally or physically for the game, just because they're young. We got some guys out there that are 21, 22, 23 years old, and you got an 18-year-old. Who may just not be ready yet. And so we always try to not put them in those positions if they're not ready, but they got to be physically developed. They got to be able to handle the game mentally at a high level. And then obviously when you get out there in front of 90-something thousand, it's like, are you going to be able to execute at that stage? And so we're just trying every day to get a little bit better, and so that when they're out there, they're able to perform.
Vince Genatone is a recent addition. He came in the summer. He committed back in April, but a local guy, transfers from Montana. Tell us about him and being able to add him to your room. What does that add?
Yeah, Vince, another Vince in the room, but Genatone's done a nice job. We got him to come here from Montana, like you mentioned, and luckily he was part of the same defensive system when he was at Montana. So a lot of the things that he learned there are very similar things to what we teach here. Obviously terminology a little bit different, but same type of scheme. He's explosive, he's fast, he was a track guy in high school as well, physical player. So he's a great addition, and he blends in with the guys. For your group, you lose guys like Luke and Nick that were such great leaders and were the communicators out there on the field. What do you look for in guys like John Bullock and Mackay and some of those guys to step into that and be one of those kind of captains, I guess, and directing the show out there on the field? Yeah, I think I got lucky. I think Luke did a great job. I think Nick did a great job. Taggy, Snodgrass, like those older guys that were in the room, they had very high standards and expectations. And so for me to step into that room a year ago, they were like, hey, this is the way that we want to do things. And they worked at a really high level. And so John and Javen and Mackay and all the rest of the guys, like, that's what we're supposed to do. And obviously there's some things that I talked to them about that we want to do at a better and higher level. But those guys did a great job. They had really high standards. And so it's John and Javen, like, they don't know anything different, if that makes sense. And so the young guys now, that we gotta do it and do it at a higher level. And that's the expectation for them.
So replacing, those guys that play a lot of football, but we just broke down a lot of different guys, a lot of different levels. But how good do you feel about this group and their potential and what they can bring to this defense this year?
Yeah, I'm excited. I think we have a lot of potential, and I think the defense as a whole has a lot of potential. We know what we have to do, and we're doing everything we can right now to try to get there. And obviously, when the fall comes around, we'll be ready to go.
How motivated is just the entire defense, but your guys too, to take it up a notch? What you did last year, but to be even better and to raise the standard? Yeah, I mean, Coach White talks about it all the time. Like, the guys last year did that. That we're a completely new defense. It's new guys. We're not all the same guys that we were a year ago. So for us, it's like, how do we get better? And we've talked about those things all off season, and it's like we have to raise the standard from a year ago, and that's what we're trying to do right now. Awesome. Appreciate your time, Rob Dvoracek, spending some time with us here on Sports Nightly. Can't wait to see you guys back on the field. Fall camp will be here before you know it. Thank you. We're going to step aside for a break here on Sports Nightly. We're back with more coming up after this.
Discover a better car buying experience at Woodhouse Nissan. With 2 convenient locations in Bellevue and Omaha off of 144th and Giles Road. Explore our full lineup of vehicles like the sleek and efficient Nissan Sentra, with advanced safety features, including the Nissan Safety Shield 360 that ensure peace of mind for your daily drive. Shop our current offers going on right now at woodhousenissan.com or woodhouseplacenissan.com today. This is Woodhouse Nissan.
Farming today is a combination of hard work, innovation, and partnerships to help keep us moving forward. Sap Brothers Petroleum has provided us with fuel, propane, and lubricants on the farm for many years.
For over 52 years, Sap Brothers has been a reliable partner to thousands of farmers across our great state. We work hard to make sure our customers have the most reliable supply, provided in the safest manner and at the most competitive price. Trust Sap Brothers Petroleum to protect your equipment and keep your farm fueled. Sap Brothers is proud to be an official partner of Huskers Athletics and to serve Nebraska farmers and Husker fans across America's heartland.
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rule is bringing innovation and high-performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the same in the field by welcoming Fendt to Nebraska.
For farmers, productivity isn't an option, it's everything. And at Valley, we feel the same, delivering game-changing technology and irrigation solutions that advance agricultural productivity, with the results to prove it. From our leading irrigation technology to expert advice, you can always rely on Valley to bring out the best in your farm. At Valley, productivity isn't an option, it's everything. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
The Make It Ford Summer Sales Event is on. So make it your best summer ever with Ford. Get your ideal combination of power and capability. And experience hands-free highway driving technology with Ford Blue Cruise, available on select vehicles. It's the Make It Ford Summer Sales Event, so make it yours. Make it now. Make it 0% APR financing. Make it a zero down payment, and make it no payments for up to 90 days on select Ford vehicles. Only at your local Ford dealer.
Hi, this is Husker National Champion and Super Bowl champ Tony Veland. Throughout my football career, chiropractic care helped my athletic performance on the field and kept me in the game. Today, regular chiropractic care keeps me healthy and active to do the things I love. Chiropractic is safe and effective for all ages. Make chiropractic your first choice to reduce pain, improve your mobility, and feel better naturally. It works for me, and it can work for you too. Learn more at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Stay active with chiropractic.
Woodhouse has been your premier destination for your automotive needs since 1975. Whether you're looking to purchase a new vehicle, sell your current one, or looking to service, our team ensures a convenient and seamless transaction from start to finish. Explore our wide selection of top brands and enjoy the peace of mind that comes with our team's dedication and decades of trusted service. Get started online at woodhouse.com and experience the Woodhouse difference today.
Farming today is a combination of hard work, innovation, and partnerships to help keep us moving forward. Sap Brothers Petroleum has provided us with fuel, propane, and lubricants on the farm for many years.
For over 52 years, Sap Brothers has been a reliable partner to thousands of farmers across our great state. We work hard to make sure our customers have the most reliable supply, provided in the safest manner and at the most competitive price. Trust Sap Brothers Petroleum to protect your equipment and keep your farm fueled. Sap Brothers is proud to be an official partner of Huskers Athletics and to serve Nebraska farmers and Husker fans across America's heartland.
Woodhouse Auto Family, they are your trusted auto partner. 20 brands, 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody back with you Thursday night Sports Nightly here on the Huskers Radio Network. Hope you enjoyed Jessica's interview with Rob Dvoracek as she broke down the linebacking core. Give me your impressions after sitting down with the coach. You can kind of sense some body language. How do you feel? How do you think he really feels about this room? Excited?
I think he really likes the group. I do. I think, he's really excited about the growth and the experience that he's got in guys like Mekhi Bayer and John Bullock. But then I think Vincent Schaefer's is going to be a star, and he's an absolute talent that is a true freshman that I think is going to be ready to play. And just hearing what so many of the players, I would ask unsolicited about some of the players that stood out, and almost every single defensive player brought up Vince Schaefer's. And so I think he's a guy that is going to play, and maybe he progresses as we go along. I think he had a great spring. We'll see how he builds on that throughout the summer and into fall camp. But I know that they also like the growth of Buddha, Javen Wright in that position. So, yeah, it's going to be different not seeing Reimer Henrich out there, but I think they have some guys that they're excited about the experience. But, yeah, maybe a little unknown outside of Bullock and Bayer, but I think there's some guys he's excited about for sure.
Well, just thinking back to the spring game, how many times we called Schaefer's name. I mean, he was all over the field for that game. And I got to believe Thompson, who the Syracuse transfer, I think once he kind of figures out, Lincoln and being around this group of guys, I think he will be a help for this team. I think I'm a little nervous on the depth, particularly with the front line guys in this position group. But you probably could say that about any position on the football team. But you are right in the middle of the fight when those inside backers, because you're taking on guys like the big dog. You're taking on those big offensive guards. They're coming out and firing out and pushing you and shoving you around, and you're trying to fight them off and make plays. So it's a physical game, so you better have some depth on that spot. So I'm glad you went through all the guys, because more than likely as the season moves on, we'll hear more and more about some of the younger guys. And that room's also got some walk-ons that I think probably will make a dent on the football field as well. And he mentioned Taggy from last year. Grant was a terrific special teams player. I don't know that he played a ton on the defensive side, but some of those walk-ons in that inside linebackers room are going to make up a big part of your special teams group as well. And those, as we know, are big time plays in a college football game. So great to hear from Rob. I really like him. I think you're right, Jess. I think you said this the other night. I think he's going to be a coordinator someday.
I do too. The way that he carries himself, and just he's CEO type Phyllis, which we said is Coach Rule's so good at, and now we've started seeing how Tony White, you can see those characteristics of being a head coach in him. And I think some of those characteristics that make Tony White a good defensive coordinator, we see in Rob Dvoracek. So, I did want to go back to one of the things about, the transfer, and you mentioned figuring things out and how things are done here. That's now been, back-to-back nights that starting these position previews, and I think we've heard it a few times with some of the transfers that Micah Mazuka, that Coach Raiola talked about the other night, but figuring out how we do things here. I think it's maybe just an adjustment for some of those transfers, even though they come in and have experience and have played a lot of football, but just figuring out how things need to be done here, maybe just a little bit of a process. And so, but certainly guys that they're going to rely on. It's just, you're not going to play just for the sake of, you played a lot of football. You got to do things right, and how this Nebraska staff wants you to do it before they're going to put you out there. But, just figuring that out, and then absolutely they will provide depth. I just think it maybe takes a little bit of time to figure all that out.
Contrast those comments, and the coaches were kind of open about it with both of those players that you mentioned, to what they were saying about Jamal Banks and how well he was doing, and that he was leading every category and attending campus events and all those type of things. So they are not afraid to heap praise on somebody, but they're also not afraid to kind of call somebody out and go, you know what, you got to get it going here a little bit for us. And, that might have flown at Syracuse or Florida, but that isn't the way we do it here. And I appreciate that. And I got to imagine that everybody on the football team does too, that these guys who just kind of drop into Lincoln in their junior or senior years aren't just handed something, that they've got to go earn it. I think that's a great message for the other 100, 120, 130 guys on the football team. Yeah, and I think Coach Rule's been very strategic about how he does that and plans that in some of his interviews and some of his press conferences. But, I can only speak to the two programs that I've been really involved in, and that's Oklahoma and here. And I know here how Coach Rule's staff has done it, and just, the family dinners and just some of the things that are required to do here. It's not everywhere. And so I'm sure it's, I'm just here to play football and practice and, just be at those team activities like that. But there's so many things that go into why things are the way they are and why Coach Rule operates the way that he does, and the culture, and there's just so many layers to it. And I mean, we talk with Kristen Coggin about just the cooking classes and the nutrition and how they break bread together, and those are all requirements. And so some of those things maybe you don't realize the importance of until you get here and get embedded in it, and maybe at other places you don't have to. It's not mandatory to do all those things together, but it's different here. And so just take some time, and you got to do all of it right. You have to be a part of all of it. You've got to be invested in all of it. And
be there on time, and otherwise you're not going to play. You've got to do things right to be able to be on the field, and not just what you're doing in practice, but in all phases of what they do here with this program.
Yep, no doubt. Cam did mention this at the top of the hour. The men's basketball non-conference schedule is out. 6 home non-conference games. The marquee games in this non-conference are all away from PBA. St. Mary's, good program. That's going to be a heck of a game up at the Pentagon in Sioux Falls. And then at Creighton, obviously a big game. And interesting, Jess, I'd mentioned the other night that I know our women's schedule is not out, but the women are also slated to play Creighton at Creighton on Friday, November the 22nd. The men, same day. You got to think they're going to put some kind of doubleheader together, right? I mean, I know a couple years ago, 2 years ago, when Nebraska's women played up there, they played on the on-campus arena for Creighton, the Sokol Arena, but it only seats about 3,000. And then the men play at the CHI Center, which seats 16 or whatever that big arena seats there. But since both Nebraska-Creighton games are on the same day, they got to get creative, right? They got to play in the same building and maybe put one at 4 o'clock and one at 8 o'clock. I don't know, but you got to do something with that. That'd be kind of a cool thing for even Husker fans to go up there, go to one game, maybe leave the building for dinner, come back for the night game, and see the men's game, or whatever they end up doing. I think they got to do something with that.
Yeah, I got to figure it out. That way you can keep it together, and both fan bases can take advantage of being able to check out both those games. And obviously 2 games that mean a lot to the state, to these programs, and a lot of Nebraska kids, especially for the Nebraska women's team. So I know that game means a lot to this program. So hopefully they can figure it out where they can accommodate both fan bases.
I didn't realize until today that both those games are on the same date, and they're both in Omaha. And so then I was doing some digging this afternoon, and I did see something where a Creighton official says, we're trying to get creative and do something kind of fun with that. So hopefully that the Creighton people get that figured out. And then we mentioned yesterday about maybe the marquee thing for the non-con is their trip to Honolulu for the Diamond Head Classic. That's a tournament. It's got some sneaky good mid-major teams. Those will be neutral site games. But again, I think it's a tournament Nebraska can go win. So you play 11 non-con, and then you have the 20 conference games. We won't get that scheduled till late August, early September when that comes out. But you get 10 at home, 10 on the road for the conference for your 31 games. So men's schedule's out. Again, as Cam did mention in the ticker, you can go find that at Huskers.com.
And Greg, also, I do not have a problem. I mean, we were texting about this, but I know that a lot of people are upset with the, lack of maybe a super like a Kansas State or one of those teams, but I don't mind it as much, just because you just mentioned it, 20 Big Ten games. You're bringing in some really good programs that you're going to have to play. The Big Ten schedule is so tough. It's so daunting. It's so physical that, to be able to stay healthy, and also the ability to have so many games at home, because they were able to do that last year. I think, they already had a ton of confidence playing inside PBA when they took on Purdue really early on in their Big Ten schedule, that allowed for them to knock off the #1 team and have that court storm. So I just think, you talk about there's a lot of different things that go into a selection to the NCAA tournament, but I just don't know if the strength of schedule one, it's going to fix itself a little bit once you get to Big Ten play. But I think, the ability to play at home, build some confidence so that you can protect the home court once you get into conference play, the maybe ability to stay healthy, and then again, being able to build some chemistry early on with a team with a lot of players that haven't played together.
It does shrink your margin of error. I mean, last year Nebraska, were we 11 seed, 12 seed? I can't remember what we were. So we weren't in by a lot, and we went 10-0 in the league at home. So, we went perfect. That's hard to do. That's hard to win every home game in the conference. So, I would have loved to have seen maybe a new series with Oklahoma, maybe a home-and-home with them, or Missouri, one of the old Big 8 guys, kind of like the K-State thing was. So, but the 3 games in Honolulu could be a little bit more deceiving. As I mentioned, those are some pretty good mid-major teams that are out there. We also, early in the week, were speculating about the future Bryce McGowan's. Well, we got some news about that today. He's now been signed by the Portland Trailblazers. So he's going to hook up with Delano Banton, another former Husker that signed with Portland here in the offseason. So good for Bryce. I think you and I both felt like he had done enough at Charlotte that other teams in the league were aware of him. I think he still has a nice future ahead of him in the NBA.
I do too. He has that NBA skill set. There's a reason why he was a 5-star recruit and that he had so much hype coming out of high school. A lot of that is based on potential and having the tools that allow for you to play at the next level, and he does. It's just, I think he's just still pretty green and young and growing and figuring out his game and how to play at that level. So I think he's just still a work in progress, but he absolutely has the skill set and the tools to be able to continue to play at that level. So hopefully he continues to grow, he gets in the right system, and is able to thrive there with Portland.
Did you watch any of Team USA last night in Vegas?
I didn't. I didn't watch any of it last night.
They were sloppy early, a lot of turnovers. They ended up beating Canada by like 14 points or whatever, but I watched the first half. They were sloppy. They led by 7 or 8 at half and ended up winning by 4. I mean, they're going to be the favorites at the Olympic Games, but I don't know that it's a complete shoe-in that they win the gold medal, but certainly have a lot of talent on that team. Hey, Husker fans, go check out the all-new Hy-Vee Perks program. Sign up for the totally free Hy-Vee Perks program and enjoy exclusive perks pricing on hundreds of items in-store and online. Score big savings today at Hy-Vee.com/perks. Hy-Vee is an official grocer partner of Husker Athletics and your one-stop shop for making your life easier, healthier, and happier. Visit your local Hy-Vee today. 402-413-2400, the number if you want to fire off a text. We're back to wrap up Hour 1 next.
You're going to feel a puff of air.
Jong's Optometry has set their sights on staffing up.
Try the next line. Hey, Kim, can you tell our 2 o'clock we're running 15 behind? Sorry, we're a bit backed up today.
He needs an optometric technician to keep an eye on it all.
Where are the dilation drops?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Husker Nation, your women's basketball team is gearing up for another incredible season, and you can be right in the heart of the action. Join the season ticket request list today and guarantee your spot for another year of Husker dominance. Witness every key basket, every clutch steal, and celebrate every victory with the most dedicated fans in the nation. Don't wait. Head over to huskers.com/tickets and secure your seat for an unforgettable season. Go Big Red.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks. Foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
When it comes to finding your next vehicle, Woodhouse Buick GMC has you covered. Whether you're looking for the luxury of a Buick Enclave or the rugged capability of a GMC Sierra, our friendly and knowledgeable staff are here to help you find the perfect vehicle for your needs. Stop in today or visit us online at WoodhouseBuickGMC.com and check out all our current offers going on now. Woodhouse Buick GMC. We are professional grade.
Our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest's premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs solutions for every field. Also want to mention that our Hall of Fame class came out today. The Nebraska Football Hall of Fame is going to have 7 former Huskers that will be inducted, highlighted by Rex Burkhead. Rex Burkhead's going to go into the class, along with Jared Crick, played alongside Ndamukong Suh for those teams in 09 and 10 that were so dominant. Chris Kelsay, one of the younger Kelsay brother. He, by the way, went on to have a really good career with the Buffalo Bills in the National Football League. Terrell Farley, who really changed Tom Osborne and Charlie McBride's defenses in the early 90s. Tyrone Bird, a safety, terrific player, and Kevin Leitner all going into the Football Hall of Fame class. And so they will be honored at one of the early season games. This is not related to Huskers. It's the Nebraska Football Hall of Fame, so it's put on by the Nebraska Football Foundation, but usually includes a bunch of former Cornhuskers in the Football Hall of Fame. So congratulations to all them. I'll reach out to Rex, see if I can get Rex on here in the coming weeks. But we had the Nebraska Athletics Hall of Fame last month, and we're going to hear from Mary Weatherholt coming up in hour number 2. And now this is the Nebraska Football Hall of Fame Again, not associated with the university, but the university certainly has a lot to do with it. And congratulations to all those gentlemen for making that Football Hall of Fame. Actually, the induction ceremony will be the 13th, so that'll be the UNI game. The Northern Iowa game is when they'll be honored down on the field. Pretty sure you're changing sidelines, Jessica. I think I was talking to some people today, and they're like, yeah, it looks like it's all go to move the team to the west sidelines. You're going to see the game from a different vantage point this fall. You okay with that?
I'm okay with it. I mean, I feel like it's not like the first time I've watched football games from that sideline. You know, they switched going to different stadiums, and Oklahoma was on the sideline that was on the same side as the press box. So, yeah, I'm ready. I know it's, for a lot of people, even Searles was talking about how different it's going to be, but, yeah, hey, I'll adjust, right?
There's not as much room over there. It's not as, there's more space on the east side, and I think that's one of the reasons Nebraska for years has been over there. I wondered if they would still do it even with the change, with the communication this year, with the be able to talk to the quarterback and somebody on defense, and you don't have to use all the silly signs that you've had to use in the past. But I think that, you know, the particularly the UTEP game, you'll love it because that's a 2:30 kick, so you'll be in the shade pretty quick. You'll be in the shade by halftime on that west sideline, where on the east side they're going to bake the entire game over there. It wouldn't affect any of the next 3 home games because all of those are going to be at night. But that's the one thing, and I think the Michigan game might have been the backbreaker for Matt Rule, because I think Jim Harbaugh even said something to Trev or to Matt about, my goodness, we're over there pretty cool because we got shade. You guys are baking over here because it was a really hot day, even though that was late September. That might have been the last straw for Matt Rule to go, we got to move over there and get in the shade for these early season games.
Yeah, and I don't feel like the sun makes that big of a difference when it's really cold. I feel like the shade makes more of a difference when it's really hot than the sun makes more of a difference when it's really cold, if that makes sense.
Searles might debate you on that because he's the one that talked about how appreciative they are in November having some sun on them when it's 35 degrees.
But there are more home games at the beginning of the season than there are at the end. So
great. Yep.
There's 4 straight to open up in the heat, which I know there's a couple night games, but there's more. Yeah, I think you're going to have more benefit for being in the shade this year than the sun because of the way that the schedule is.
And again, it makes sense to have your backs to the press box because even communication, you're still going to use hand signals for certain things. I get all of that, and so I want you and Jeremiah to debate that. That's a good debate topic for one of your podcasts.
Well, but he also likes cold weather. I like hot weather, so I mean, I don't know.
He's a sweater.
We'd ever work it out.
He's a sweater.
I love it. I love I love the hot weather and the warm weather.
Yeah. How is the big dog? I haven't talked to him in a couple weeks.
He's traveling.
Touched base with him?
He's traveling. I guess he survived all the fireworks with his kiddos.
Good.
Posted some photos of Oliver popping some fireworks. I want to hear about his smoked.
He was going to smoke some meat. I wonder how that went.
So you guys, I guess, didn't end up doing the hot dog contest I told you to do with him.
That turns my stomach to think about that. So no, we did not end up doing that. So I'll check. I'm gonna text him tonight, see how he's doing. Want to see how that smoked meat went for him on the 4th of July. Folks, Woodhouse Auto Family, they are your trusted auto partner. 20 brands, 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. Andrew Morgan, we're going to hear from him. He's the big, tall center from North Dakota State, now part of Fred Hoiberg's basketball team. That conversation coming up on the other side, and we'll talk to a Hall of Famer, tennis player Mary Weatherholt. All that coming up in hour 2 of Sports Nightly. Take a little break. Come on back with us.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks. Foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rule is bringing innovation and high performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the same in the field by welcoming Fendt to Nebraska.
Hi, this is Husker National Champion and Super Bowl champ Tony Veland. Throughout my football career, chiropractic care helped my athletic performance on the field and kept me in the game. Today, regular chiropractic care keeps me healthy and active to do the things I love. Chiropractic is safe and effective for all ages. Make chiropractic your first choice to reduce pain, improve your mobility, and feel better naturally. It works for me, and it can work for you too. Learn more at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Stay active with chiropractic.
The Make It Ford Summer Sales Event is on. So make it your best summer ever with Ford. Get your ideal combination of power and capability. And experience hands-free highway driving technology with Ford Blue Cruise, available on select vehicles. It's the Make It Ford Summer Sales Event, so make it yours. Make it now. Make it 0% APR financing. Make it a zero down payment, and make it no payments for up to 90 days on select Ford vehicles. Only at your local Ford dealer.
Good evening. I'm Camden Cohn, and this is our Sports Ticker. Lots of Nebraska football news today, starting with the announcement that John Butler is the new secondaries coach and pass game coordinator. Butler comes to Nebraska after spending the past 6 seasons with the Buffalo Bills. Overall, he has 29 seasons of coaching experience, including 19 years in college and 10 in the NFL. Husker football also released who would be headed to Indianapolis for Big Ten football media days. Ben Scott, Isaac Gifford, and Ty Robinson will join head coach Matt Rule. Nebraska will speak to the media on July 24th, along with Iowa, Michigan State, Penn State, USC, and UCLA. Nebraska football also announced their 2024 Hall of Fame inductees today. 6 former Huskers were selected to the class: Kevin Leitner, Tyrone Bird, Terrell Farley, Chris Kelsey, Jared Crick, and Rex Burkhead. The Nebraska Football Hall of Fame Board also selected former Husker Monty Johnson for the Legends category, and the state college representative is Mike Miller from UNK. For more information on each of these players, visit Huskers.com. Former Nebraska basketball player Bryce McGowens signed a 2-way contract with the Portland Trail Blazers today, where he joins another former Husker in Delano Banton. And finally, Nebraska basketball officially released their non-conference schedule today. The Huskers will play 5 of their 11 non-con games on the road or at neutral sites. The schedule is highlighted by home games against South Dakota and North Florida, a game at Creighton, and a neutral site game against St. Mary's. To see the full schedule for the non-conference, visit Huskers.com. Hour 2 of Sports Nightly is up next, right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Here come the Razorbacks, bumping over the left. Gillen, she's stopped. Rick Allen, block number 11 for the team 16. They're body bumping in Lincoln.
Dillon turns, hands it off to Dowdell, left side, bounces to the outside, 40, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown, Dante Dowdell.
Shelley throws down low. Markowski kicks it out to Jazz, knocked away by Marshall. 7 to shoot, 6 to shoot. Shelley for 3. You betcha! Huskers take their first lead of the game with 30 seconds left.
Here's the 2-2 pitch.
Called strike 3. Breaking ball outside corner. Make it an even 10 for McConaughey, and the Hoosiers leave 2 more here in the top of the 7th.
Now the 3-2, and Brentwell swings and hammers it deep center field. She's gone! Home run, Eva Brentwell, and a 2-0 lead for the Cornhuskers.
Tominaga with 9, 8, 7, starts down the right side, goes to the right sideline, 4 seconds, step back, 30-footer. Got it! Unbelievable! I don't believe what I just saw. Tominaga knocks it home.
Here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
And welcome back. Hour number 2, Sports On. It's our last hour of the night. It's our last hour of the week. We'll have a best of show tomorrow night. In fact, we're going to play back a women's basketball game for you tomorrow night for the Big Ten tournament up in Minneapolis. So look forward to that tomorrow night as we continue our summer programming for just a couple more weeks. We got fall camp starting at the end of the week. So we have about 3 more best ofs on Friday, and then we'll be back live with you for the party shows on Friday night. Camden, great job with the ticker. Do you remember having a day for the ticker in the last, 2 months that you've had this much news? I mean, there was a ton of stuff today, right?
I don't think so. I would say ever since school and classes got out, there hasn't been this much released in one day.
It was a plethora of stuff that came in there. So good work on putting that together. Canada's going to sit down with Mary Weatherholt, our Hall of Fame tennis player for Nebraska Athletics, coming up a little bit later on in the hour. But we're going to start talking men's basketball. Camden mentioned in the ticker that the non-conference schedule came out today. A lot of new faces on Fred Hoiberg's basketball team. And in our continuing series, Jessica sits down with another new Husker athlete. This time it's Andrew Morgan, the big center from North Dakota State, who now is a Cornhusker.
Welcome to Lincoln. How's it been settling in?
Oh, it's been great. I mean, it was everything I thought of and more. I mean, it's just it has a very homey feel for me, and it's definitely great being here, and it's great weather and great people down here too.
So take me through your decision when you decided to go into the transfer portal, what you were looking for out of the program to play your last season of college basketball.
I was really looking for a program that was like very competitive. They were very competitive in their league, and somebody who would give me the best opportunity to win and have the most I could help win for the next year as well. It was something that was really weighing on me. I mean, I wanted to go to a school that was going to be very, like, made me feel at home, but they were just going to be like, have me there for a year and then I would never talk to them again. I wanted to go to a place that would make me feel at home. And then I had a lot of connections kind of to Lincoln that or knew about Lincoln, and everybody told me that it's one of the best places on earth to be at. So I was like, trust my gut with it, and then came down and saw it for myself, and I was like, yeah, this place is pretty special.
One of those connections Husker fans love and know well, and that is Sam Griesel, who you played with for a year there at North Dakota State. What were those conversations like when you hit up Sam and said, hey, what's this place like? Should I come here?
Oh, I don't even think he said anything but just go Big Red, keep going, go to Big Red. So, I mean, he was very excited about it, and he kept telling me, I mean, we compared notes. We played with the same coach up there. We were kind of comparing how it is down here, and he was just saying how much I'd love it down here. And it was very good recruiting side of that, and along with some of the other guys I knew up in Fargo that knew about how it operated down here. So.
When you committed here, I asked him about you, and he said, really talented guy that will play hard and play the right way. How important is that to you to play the right way when you're out there on the court?
Oh, I mean, it's really important. I mean, you always got to make the right plays. You never want to turn the ball over. You never want to take a bad shot. So in college basketball, especially at this level, every possession matters. So it was the way that I like to play is every possession matters. If you screw up one possession, you could end a game and you were lost by 2, and then that one possession will come back to haunt you. So it's been something that's always been kind of in my head. So.
It's awesome. You know, I had also heard an interview that you had said when you were looking for your next place is you wanted to go to the place that had the keys to success. You've played college basketball now for several years. You have a feel for that and know what that takes. So what was it? What were some of those things here at Nebraska that you felt like, okay, they've got the pieces here to be successful?
Oh, I mean, it just starts at the top with Coach Hoiberg. I mean, he's one of the best coaches in college basketball, and he's coached at the pro level, and some of the other coaches have actually coached at the pro level as well. And it felt for me, if I wanted to expand my game, and especially if I wanted to go to someplace after and play pro ball somewhere else, I mean, it would be possible. So it wasn't just looking at for 1 year, it was looking at for the future as well. And then, I mean, they kind of already had that set as well.
When he came on and was chatting about you, he said that obviously very, very tough. You play really tough, and physical guy, you're not afraid of the contact. Where does that come from? How did that evolve for you, being that tough guy inside?
That kind of came from growing up on a farm.
Yeah.
I mean, you get injured on the farm, sometimes you just got to brush it off. So, I mean, that kind of came from that, and then physicality, that really came from me wanting to be a football player when I grew up, and I got too big for that. So I always wanted to hit people. That was like the most exciting part of my job in football. So, yeah, I mean, it's kind of just evolved into something that I like to be physical. I like to play games physical, and especially with the Big Ten and how they play here. I mean, it's just open field for me. So
that you'll fit right in with that mindset right there. You know, you'd said that you are working a little bit on extending a little bit your outside shot and being able to contribute maybe at the elbow and out. And what's gone into that? How has that been working with him and the staff on improving that part of your game?
Oh, it's been going really well. I mean, it's definitely the way that this offense is set up. So this offense is set up in a way that the bigs really get to facilitate everything at the top of the key. So, I mean, I kind of played a little bit of that up in North Dakota, but this is more into it in this offense. So it's definitely just getting more familiar with being on the outside more, and also being able to defend on the perimeter a little more than I did up there, which is fine. And it's definitely just part of just expanding how you can play the game.
You know, for this culture and this group of guys, they've been really close the last 2 years, and I know that was another thing that you've mentioned. What is it about this group of guys that it's special that you guys are so close-knit and that everybody works well together?
Yeah, I mean, from the moment I got here, everybody just welcomed me with open arms, and then especially as the other guys came in, it was like very, very welcoming feeling. And then it was also like, it's fun to be around them as friends, but it's also like even more fun to be around them on the court because they work just as hard as anybody else out there, and they're going hard in every drill. They want to win every drill, so that's something that's really fun to play with as well because everybody's competing to win their drill. They're not just there to do the drill, they're there to win it. So that's something that about this team is just so fun to be around.
So you've done this summer thing, this preseason thing a few times now. How do you feel like this Nebraska team is progressing so far up until this point with what the work they've been able to do together so far?
I think it's going very well. I mean, I think that it definitely starts with having chemistry on the team. That takes a while right away, and then guys kind of understand how the offense works. But I think it's going really well. I mean, guys are already getting way more comfortable in the offense, making cuts, making certain plays, reading off other guys. So it's just it's already going very well. I mean, we obviously have more time to work on it as well. So it's going very well. We got guys that just know how to play with each other and they know how to play off of each other. So that's obviously something that like usually it takes a while for other people, but I feel like this group really catches on real quick.
Okay, so I want to go back. I was going to ask you about this, but tell us about your farm, the family farm.
Yeah, so I mean, I grew up on a farm in right outside of Waseca. Grew up there my whole life. That was kind of the plan to do. I wasn't even really planning on going to college. That was kind of it wasn't really unheard of in my area, but it was more like you graduate high school, you go to a community college for 2 years, and then you go back to like HVAC or something like that, which is kind of what I wanted to do. I was like, I'd love to go out and go to a community college. I'm like, that's like high. And then the school right next to us from Mankato, I always thought that was Mankato State. I always thought that was like the highest of the high right there. I'm like, if you go to Mankato, you're fancy. And I mean, I just grew up on a farm, and for me, I was kind of closed off from how everything else worked because I'm out kind of isolated out in the country, and it kind of just helped me become who I am now. I mean, we just do crops. I mean, I've known that there's never something not to do on the farm, so that kind of helped me with my work ethic as well because you don't really have time off on certain things. It's like it's whenever the weather is ready to go. So I mean, you don't really count the days. You don't really work Monday through Friday. It's like, all right, the weather's good, you go now. So that was something that really taught me that no matter what or when, especially if you have friends going out, you got to go finish your work then. So work always came first on the farm, and I always loved it.
Oh, that's awesome. So how did you, be in all of that, how did you work yourself into becoming the kind of basketball player that was recruited that did get this kind of opportunity?
I mean, I was, I mean, it was weird. We got a basketball hoop right outside of my yard, or right in front of my garage, and whenever we'd come home from doing something, like I'd be out in the field all day, and a way for me to unwind was I'd just go out there and shoot the entire time, just unwind, play with my dog, and we'd shoot, and then keep shooting. And then whenever we'd come home with a load of corn we were dumping up at the pit by the bin site, I'd crack it open just a little bit so it trickled out, so I'd go down and shoot. So I mean, it was kind of something that I was just, whenever like the work got overstimulated with the work, I would always just go down and shoot baskets, and then I just kept shooting and shooting and shooting. And then I always had great coaches in Waseca as well that taught me how to play the game the right way and play the best way possible. So it kind of just evolved into me being pretty decent at basketball.
Oh, that's so cool. What a cool story. Corn and soybeans, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you have a preference? Which crop do you prefer to work with?
I mean, it depends on the year. I mean, if it's
good answer.
Good corn prices, I'd love to go grow corn, but not right now. But the beans are easier. Corn takes a little bit more work and a little more preparation, but I like them both. I mean, I really like growing corn because we don't have to haul that far when we haul it in. We only have to haul like 12 miles, and beans we have to haul like 25, 30 miles. So maybe that plays into the decision a little bit, but overall, I like them both.
Okay, so your major is agriculture economics, which you hope to use going to work back at the farm. How important was that, too, when you start looking at colleges for your last season that had your major, that you could complete that?
I mean, it was pretty important to me. I mean, I worked for 3 years at this degree up in Fargo, and it was something I always knew I was going back home to do. So I always wanted to do something in school that I was going to go back home and use. And looking for a school that had it was pretty important to me, and the fact that Nebraska had it, and then they also have a really good program here as well. I mean, that just kind of made me feel a lot better.
So tell us about that. What are some of the biggest things you've learned that you feel like you'll be able to go back and apply?
Oh, kind of just like the management of like the books.
Yeah.
Like you manage books and stuff like that. That's something that's you don't really learn that in regular school. So learning how to do your books, learning how to like manage certain things, the depreciation values on certain equipment and stuff like that. I mean, it's something that like in your way you market your crop, about the basis and stuff like that, that has really helped me, and I really think it's really going to help me when I go back home. So it's definitely something that like already has played a factor in how I do things at home.
Very cool. Okay, well, tell us about your mullet. Is there a story behind it?
That was I think that was my sophomore year up at NDSU. That was I had really long hair, like super long hair, because my freshman year I got sick of paying for haircuts all the time. I thought they were getting too expensive. So I'm like, I'm not getting my hair cut anymore. So I grew my hair out, and then we were coming around tournament time, and I was like, maybe I should get a mullet. And I kind of got it, and I remember when the barber told me when I got it, he's like, once you get it, you're not going to want to get away from it. I'm like, yeah, right. And then as soon as I got it, I'm like, I kind of like it. So, I mean, it's been with me for like 2 years, and there's really no main story behind it. It just kind of happened, and then
Now it's your thing.
now it's my thing, I guess, yeah.
Okay, I was also told you rebuild cars.
Yeah.
Is that true? Tell us about that.
Yeah, we rebuild a lot of cars. It kind of started in high school. I always wanted like a cool car for like high school. I thought that'd be really cool. And then I didn't have the money to pay for it, like buy a newer one. So I'm like, what's another way I can get a cool car that I can actually have? And I'm like, well, I bought it wrecked. So I bought it wrecked for an auction down in Dallas. It was my first one. We went down and got it, brought it home, we fixed it. And my neighbor, he's a body guy, so he knew how to do all the body work, and he kind of taught me how to do it all. And then I did one, and I'm like, well, let's do another truck. And then we just kept doing it, and by now we've done like right around 14 of them.
Wow.
So, yeah, we do a lot of them. And most of the cars that we drive now were wrecked when we got them.
Really?
So, yeah, and my dad always was a really, really good mechanic, so he always taught me how to do everything like with cars, and I've always been fiddling with cars in the shop. So when we started getting them wrecked, we just kind of knew what to do, and we both worked on them, and we like to build cool cars. And once we get done with them, we like to put our own little custom stuff done to them, custom paint jobs, custom rims, tires, different things to them. So just to make it our own as well. So
You do the paint job too?
no, my neighbor does most of the painting on the trucks. I paint the tractors. I don't paint the trucks.
That is so cool. That's fascinating. So do you have a favorite car or one that you're most proud of, the finished product?
Oh, I'd probably say it was our 2018 pickup. That one was wrecked pretty bad. It hit 2 trees, and it was like really bad. And it took us about a year to do that one, because there was a lot of body work and metal work involved in that. And then now that it's done and you see it, that one's probably my favorite, because it's the best looking one, and it's got the most kind of some custom stuff done to it, and it's best looking, and it's most fun driving. So
Wow, that's fascinating. Maybe a little side business in the future?
Yeah.
If anybody needs some detailed car work, maybe they could hit you up?
yeah, I do a little bit of car work.
All of this stuff, you talk about the farming and then the rebuilding the cars. How good is that for, as a college athlete, as a student athlete, to have that kind of escape away from sports?
I think it's really good, because I go home and I go and work on stuff immediately when I'm home, because it's just something that like releases. It kind of just takes my mind away from everything that I do like in the sports world or like college. It's like I can just relax, and I can just go back to the base roots where I was growing up in. I was working in the shop, and we were working on the farm. So when I go back in the shop, it's like, for me, it's just a settle all. I just get to worry about what's in there and work on that. Don't have to deal with like the outside noise of your like rumors or something random, or you had a bad game. It's like you can just go back in the shop and you work, and then that's your life.
So it's such a process. So what is your favorite part of the rebuilding the cars? Like, is there a certain skill task or that you like the most?
My favorite part is definitely like when you see what you worked on for so long become something that's like a really nice car.
Mm-hmm.
You know what you got right away. It was a wrecked, mangled piece of junk, and you're like, well, nobody wanted it. That's why it was on the auction. So you take something that nobody really wanted, and you can kind of build it into your own, and then a lot of people want it because it's all custom and it's new. And just knowing that every day when you're working on something, you built something on your own, that's really nice. So that's probably the most rewarding part.
So is there a custom Huskers vehicle in the future?
I mean, I have a red and black truck. I have 2 of them. The one that's painted custom red and black, so that one, I guess that one could work.
You could throw a Husker logo or something on
I
there.
could, but that's the farm truck, so we can't be doing too much with that. That thing's always working. But we could do it on one of the other trucks.
Oh, that's so cool. We were going to have to do a deeper dive into this with you and show some of the things that you've been able to do. Well, circling back, just to you coming here playing basketball, what are you hoping to bring to this program, to provide to this program, to help this program succeed, which is, I know, important to you?
Yeah, I mean, I really want this program to win. I mean, I've seen how much it means to, like, just the guys that I knew, how much Nebraska means to them, and I know how much it probably matters to the fans as well. I mean, it's a very loyal fan base down here, and for me, that's something that's really exciting to play for. And you're not just playing for the success of the team, you're playing for the success of everybody else, and it's definitely really exciting. I really want this team to be win a lot of games, and we can play up in the Big Ten and then go back to the tournament and then hopefully win one in the tournament as well.
You mentioned it, how excited are you to experience Pinnacle Bank Arena?
I'm very excited. I mean, I've never seen it. I mean, I've never seen how loud it gets. I've only heard about it, and everybody who says, even people at the gas station when I get gas, they're like, oh yeah, you're going to experience it. I'm like, oh, okay, it must be that good. The gas station guys tell me that. But I mean, I'm very excited to see it. I mean, everybody talks about it, but they can't really describe it. And that's kind of the way it was when I was coming down here for visits, and they weren't lying when that happened. So I'm excited to see what it looks like.
How do you feel like your game will translate to the Big Ten?
I think it will translate very well. I mean, I was in a league that was, in a way, soft. I mean, they didn't really like bigger guys that like to be physical. So that's kind of nice for me to be in the Big Ten. I can really just not have to hold back as much as I did in the Summit League. And it'll be a lot more physical, a lot more guys that are kind of play like me. So that's going to be a lot more fun. I think it'll go just fine.
So you're saying you're going to stay out of foul trouble completely?
Oh, let's not make that promise. But we're gonna stay as far away from it as we can.
I had to ask you that because Coach Hoiberg had mentioned that when he was doing a breakdown of the incoming transfers, and that how effective Andrew was and efficient he was with limited playing time because he got into some foul trouble, so I had to ask him there. But how about that? I don't think I've ever talked to anybody that has all that going on outside of basketball or whatever sport that they're playing.
That was so fun. I mean, you've done so many interviews. That might be one of my favorite ones, just to weave in talking about farm life and working on cars as a kid and doing that. Andy in the chat room's got problems with his truck. He wants to try to get in touch with Andrew. Maybe Andrew can help him out with his truck a little bit there. But he was so fun. He's going to be easy to root for, and I think people are going to love the way he plays. He plays really hard.
Yeah,
that was great. Good job.
And he loves this place already. And even before we started doing that interview, he was just talking about how much he loves it here. And so I think it fits him and all the different things that he likes to do and the lifestyle. And he loves his teammates. And so I think he's going to be a fan favorite. I think he's going to be one of those guys that get a lot of cheers inside PBA.
That was fantastic. Hey, folks, Woodhouse Auto Family, speaking of cars, they're your trusted auto partner, 20 brands, 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Go visit us online at woodhouse.com. When we come back, Camden's going to sit down with the Hall of Fame tennis player, Mary Weatherholt. That is next.
Hey, Mom. Yeah, I got in a crash. I'm okay. I was wearing my seatbelt.
People count on you to buckle up. Brought to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Timmy, everybody. Great job. Next up for our 5th grade class recital, we have Samantha.
10 times better performance can make a big difference. Castrol Edge Motor Oil gives your engine 10 times better high-stress performance. Castrol Edge, better oil for maximum performance. Now through December 28th, Castrol Edge and Edge High Mileage Motor Oil are on rollback at Walmart.
Claim based on sequence 9 test under high load conditions versus API SP test limits.
Did I forget something?
No, just wanted to tell you I love you. Oh, don't forget to buckle up. Drive safe.
I will. Love you too.
Someone is counting on you to buckle up. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
The Make It Ford Summer Sales Event is on. So make it your best summer ever with Ford. Get your ideal combination of power and capability. And experience hands-free highway driving technology with Ford Blue Cruise, available on select vehicles. It's the Make It Ford Summer Sales Event, so make it yours. Make it now. Make it 0% APR financing. Make it a zero down payment, and make it no payments for up to 90 days on select Ford vehicles. Only at your local Ford dealer.
Hi, I'm a baseball umpire. My job can get pretty stressful. I have to keep my eyes open at all times, and if I don't make the right call, people boo me. So to relax, I visit a Nebraska lottery retailer like this one and buy some scratch tickets. It always calms me down. Hey, you cut in line.
I did not.
All right, you're out of here.
Hey, he didn't cut.
All right, you're out of here. I feel better already.
The Nebraska Lottery. Top prize odds vary by game.
Get ready to rule the field and revolutionize your farming game with Valley, the game changer in irrigation and ag tech solutions. With time and labor-saving measures, ground truthing results, and effective input reduction, Valley provides the perfect game plan so you stay ahead of what's in the field. From the best in irrigation and cutting-edge ag tech solutions to personalized support, Valley is your winning team. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
Farming today is a combination of hard work, innovation, and partnerships to help keep us moving forward. Sapp Brothers Petroleum has provided us with fuel, propane, and lubricants on the farm for many years.
For over 52 years, Sapp Brothers has been a reliable partner to thousands of farmers across our great state. We work hard to make sure our customers have the most reliable supply, provided in the safest manner and at the most competitive price. Trust Sapp Brothers Petroleum to protect your equipment and keep your farm fueled. Sapp Brothers is proud to be an official partner of Huskers Athletics and to serve Nebraska farmers and Husker fans across America's heartland.
Woodhouse Cadillac, where luxury meets performance. Discover the latest Cadillac models designed with cutting-edge technology and unbelievable design. Thanks to our streamlined buying process, you can start right now and explore financing options, view our large inventory, and even schedule a test drive, all from home. Come visit Woodhouse Cadillac in-store or online at woodhousecadillac.com and check out all of our current offers going on now.
Welcome back to Sports Nightly. I'm Camden Cohn in the Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center. It is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Well, a couple of weeks ago, the 2024 Husker Hall of Fame class came out, and we're thrilled to be joined by one of the newest members of that class, Mary Weatherholt. Mary has perhaps had the greatest individual career in Nebraska women's tennis history, as she's the only Nebraska women's tennis player to be the Conference Player of the Year, a singles All-American, and win multiple All-American awards. Mary, thanks for joining us and congratulations. How does it feel to be a Hall of Famer?
Thank you so much. I'm really happy. It's a huge honor. So, yeah, I was surprised, but I'm just really excited about it. Excited to get back up to Lincoln to celebrate it.
So tell me how you found out you're going to be inducted. Did it come with a phone call? What were some of the details?
Yeah, Keith Zimmer, Associate Athletic Director, and I remember Keith, worked with him when I was a student athlete there too. So he gave me a call, and I was in my final weeks of pregnancy, which was pretty rough. So it was definitely like a bright spot that helped brighten that up. So yeah, I kind of was completely taken off guard because I didn't know why he was reaching out, but it was just clearly an honor, and got to tell my husband and then my parents, and they were obviously excited for me as well.
How long had it been since you talked to Keith?
We've kept in touch over the years, so I've gone up to Lincoln and visited when I can. It's gotten a little harder with kids now. But so we've we sent emails, and whenever I'm up in Lincoln, I always try to stop and see Keith and my former academic counselor and other counselors there and staff as well. So at least, I mean, we just had a tennis reunion October of 22. So I think that's the last time I'd been up there and gotten to see everyone.
Oh, nice. So let's start before you came to Nebraska. How did you get into the world of tennis?
Well, yeah, when I was young, I had I was very high energy, very intense kid, and I saw Lindsay Davenport win the Olympics when I was 4, so it was in 4 or 5, it was in 96. So I told my parents, I want to do that. And so I started playing tennis, and I just kind of was obsessed with it right away, and I'd ask my dad to take me out at 5 a.m. before school, and so I played a lot right away, even when I was young. And I just loved it. And so my parents really helped make that dream come true. So did you focus on tennis from a young age, or did you play some other sports as well? Mostly just tennis. Like, I briefly tried softball, but it kind of messed with my my backhand swing in tennis. Same with softball, and then basketball as well. Briefly tried cross country in high school, but my knees were pretty bad at that point. And I quit tennis briefly during high school, but came back to it before college, obviously. And so, I just kind of, it's always been tennis, though. I always loved tennis. So focusing on your time at Nebraska a little bit more, you were the NCAA singles champion runner-up in 2013. You own Nebraska all-time records with 123 singles wins, 208 combined singles and doubles victories, and an .842 career singles winning percentage, to name just a couple of your appearances in the record book. You're from Prairie Village, Kansas, which is a suburb of the Kansas City area. So what brought you to Lincoln? Yeah, so it's actually really cool. A former men's tennis player, Dave Moyer, he was a tennis coach here in the city, and his wife, Wendy, was actually one of my high school counselors. So I kind of, when I had quit tennis during high school, and when I started playing again, I was looking for a new local coach. So she got me connected in at Dave's club with him and my other coach, Kevin. But so when I started looking at colleges, he said, hey, I know Scott Jacobson was the head coach at the time. He's a great guy. Highly recommend at least visiting, chatting with him, seeing what you think. So Scott Jacobson was one of the first coaches then who reached out to me, invited me up for an unofficial visit my junior year of high school in September. And then he basically offered me offered me a spot that month. And so I committed really early, essentially. So, cause I just kind of fell in love with it right away. What did you fall in love with? Was it just the coaching, or were there a lot of other things that went into it? Oh, a lot of other things. I think just the whole, it felt so right when I was on campus. And everyone in Lincoln was so friendly when my mom and I were on that visit. The girls on the team, I definitely meshed well with the coaches and their philosophy and just who they were as people. But I saw that across the board with the academic counselors who we met with. You could just tell it was a very caring environment, that Nebraska goes above and beyond on opportunities for their student athletes. So we could tell it was definitely going to be just good for my overall well-being, both athletically, but also academically. And just, you could tell there was already a really great community there for the student athletes. So, you mentioned academics. What are some highlights that you remember from being a student at Nebraska that may have occurred off the court? Yeah, academically, I really liked a lot of my professors, still keep up with some of them to this day. And then also my team, we won the Herman Award while I was there. So it was the highest team GPA my last 3 years. And so that was definitely a highlight, is a lot of the players on my team were international student athletes. And so I was always really impressed by their work ethic, and just the fact that they were studying in a second language and still getting really high GPAs, I think represented our team and the university really well. And it was just kind of fun going for that as a team, because it was another thing we got to try to achieve together as a team, and we had fun with it. So you mentioned the Herman Award, but you were a 2014 NCAA Top 10 recipient, which is an award that honors male and female student athletes around the country based on athletic achievement, academic achievement, and community involvement. And you graduated with a degree in business administration. So what have you been up to since your time at Nebraska? Yeah. Since then, I've kind of been all over the board. I played professionally a little bit after college, but I continued to have knee issues and shoulder issues, and so I had to retire from tennis overall about 1.5 years after college. So I played some during that time, but had 2 more knee surgeries and just didn't have a knee anymore. And so after that, I was kind of like reconsidering what to do. I considered going back for a business master's, but then decided to go pre-med. Ended up weightlifting at WashU, but then around that time I had gotten married to my now husband and was kind of like reevaluating what I wanted. And I'd always wanted to be a stay-at-home wife and mom, and we were talking about timing with kids and stuff. So I decided to just get a job kind of out in the business world and the real world for a while before we began that.
How old are your kids?
They are now 4, 2.5, and 3 weeks.
Well, congratulations on that. Again, we're visiting with one of the newest members of this year's Nebraska Athletic Hall of Fame class, the all-time singles leader at Nebraska with 123 wins, Mary Weatherholt, as she will be inducted into the Hall of Fame with the rest of the group on October 4th. We chatted with some of your fellow inductees, Jordan Hooper and Emily Wong, recently, and they were both at Nebraska around the same time that you were. Did you have any interactions with them?
I definitely remember their time on campus. Obviously, they were amazing athletes. So obviously, I knew how good they were, and just the student athlete environment in Nebraska is really cool because you get to interact pretty naturally with a lot of the other athletes as well. So even though I wasn't close with either of them, I definitely know who they both are, have a lot of respect for them. Facebook friends, so I got to say congrats and stuff. And so it definitely was considered an honor when I saw those names and was in there with them because, yeah, I had a lot of respect for them just from interacting with them casually on a day-to-day basis there.
What does it mean to you that Nebraska Athletics is recognizing you and your amazing career with the Huskers?
It just means a lot. It just feels pretty surreal because I just enjoyed my time up there so much, and I really feel like, too, a lot of the awards I got were enabled because of the environment that's set up there. Like even the top 10 award for the NCAA, I mean, the life skills department at Nebraska is second to none. And so they just provided so many opportunities that, like, all I had to do was say yes a lot of times, right? So they make it easier to succeed academically in the community. There's so many, like, built-in ways to get involved, and also just like I just really got to love a lot of the staff there, even like the training table workers and a couple of security guards. And so it just always felt like a really supportive community. And I think that helped me succeed while I was up there. And so it just kind of, it just feels surreal to be included with so many great student athletes on that list when I don't feel like I was one of them. Like I know I did well, I guess, but it just, I don't know. I'm mostly just grateful to get to reconnect up there again in a new way, and it just is an honor.
Well, you're definitely deserving, and you've been awesome to talk to today. You're such a huge part of this Husker tennis program, the name all over the record books, so definitely another well-deserved member of this year's Hall of Fame class. Are you planning on coming back for the ceremony this fall?
Yes, definitely, and I'm really excited to bring my family and show them that part of my life, that's in the past now, but still such a part of me, and the place, it's all so special to me, so I'm excited to share that with them as well.
That's awesome. Well, I hope to see you then, and again, congratulations, Mary, on an amazing career and a well-deserved honor.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Have a good one.
We'll be back with more Sports Nightly after the break.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out heart-stopping letters, aggressively garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it seem impossible to ever get out of debt. Don't let the tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, the #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks that the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands. Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, they'll fight to get you the best deal possible. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-783-8055. That's 800-783-8055. 800-783-8055. Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Farming today is a combination of hard work, innovation, and partnerships to help keep us moving forward. Sap Brothers Petroleum has provided us with fuel, propane, and lubricants on the farm for many years.
For over 52 years, Sap Brothers has been a reliable partner to thousands of farmers across our great state. We work hard to make sure our customers have the most reliable supply, provided in the safest manner and at the most competitive price. Trust Sap Brothers Petroleum to protect your equipment and keep your farm fueled. Sap Brothers is proud to be an official partner of Huskers Athletics and to serve Nebraska farmers and Husker fans across America's heartland.
The Make It Ford Summer Sales Event is on. So make it your best summer ever with Ford. Get your ideal combination of power and capability. And experience hands-free highway driving technology with Ford Blue Cruise, available on select vehicles. It's the Make It Ford Summer Sales Event, so make it yours. Make it now. Make it 0% APR financing. Make it a zero down payment, and make it no payments for up to 90 days on select Ford vehicles. Only at your local Ford dealer.
For farmers, productivity isn't an option, it's everything. And at Valley, we feel the same, delivering game-changing technology and irrigation solutions that advance agricultural productivity, with the results to prove it. From our leading irrigation technology to expert advice, you can always rely on Valley to bring out the best in your farm. At Valley, productivity isn't an option, it's everything. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
Hi, I'm a baseball umpire. My job can get pretty stressful. I have to keep my eyes open at all times, and if I don't make the right call, people boo me. So to relax, I visit a Nebraska lottery retailer like this one and buy some scratch tickets. It always calms me down. Hey, you cut in line.
I did not.
All right, you're out of here.
Hey, he didn't cut.
All right, you're out of here. I feel better already.
The Nebraska Lottery. Top prize odds vary by game.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks. Foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
A few drinks at home after work, a couple of hits at a party with some friends, over-the-counter drugs for a minor illness, a new daily prescription, and you're not quite sure how it makes you feel. It doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If it impairs you, driving becomes deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Hey, Husker fans, go check out the all-new Hy-Vee Perks program. Sign up for the totally free Hy-Vee Perks program and enjoy exclusive perks pricing on hundreds of in-store and online. Score big savings today at Hy-Vee.com/perks. Hy-Vee is an official grocery partner of Husker Athletics and your one-stop shop for making your life easier, healthier, and happier. Visit your local Hy-Vee today. Cam did a great job with Mary Weatherholt. She was a delight to listen to. Tremendous player. You don't think about tennis as being one of those prime sports at Nebraska, but she was so good and really separated herself. And good to hear. Man, she's a busy lady with 3 young ones inside the age of 4. She's probably really busy, but good to hear that she'll be back in October for that ceremony. I think we're getting closer to a conversation with Ndamukong Suh. I talked again with his folks today. Maybe early next week we'll get a chance to get Ndamukong to talk about him. We've already heard from Jordan Hooper, Emily Wong, and now Mary Weatherholt. So we're making our way through that class. Fun era, and she and Emily and Jordan here at the same time. That's a pretty good little era for Husker Athletics in that time. And Mary said she knew both of them and they're Facebook friends. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, it just goes to show you those are. You talk about somebody like Jordan Hooper was a big reason why a little girl like Alexis Markowski was looking up to her playing, and just the longevity of how good some of these women's sports have been for a while, and how they inspired a generation that we're getting to watch now. So, yeah, it's really neat. I'm glad they're getting honored for sure.
Yeah, so early October, the Rutgers game is when they'll be honored on the field. They'll have a ceremony on Friday afternoon where they'll be officially inducted into the Athletics Hall of Fame. It's a really good class, and this was started about 10 years ago, and I'll give him some props. Sean Eichhorst was the AD at the time and said, hey, you don't have a Hall of Fame here. And it was kind of silly that with all the great history of Nebraska athletics that they have not had a Hall of Fame, but they got that started, had a huge class to begin. I think the first class was 25 members, and we've been adding a handful every year since. And I know, Jess, you were part of the ceremony last year on the Friday, and it's amazing how much it does mean to these athletes. I mean, some of them, like a Sue, go on and do all the things in the NFL, but yet being honored by your college and your school when you're developing as a human being and growing up a lot, it touches the hearts of these young, now some are young, men and women when they get put into an athletic Hall of Fame. It's kind of fun to see their reactions.
Yeah, and they bring their families, and then a lot of times the current teams, the programs, and will come and support. Like, I know a couple years, every time that there's been when there's been a women's basketball player, the entire women's basketball team shows up, and wrestling.
Last year was wrestling.
When there was wrestling, the entire wrestling team, baseball, and then former teammates. So yeah, it's just close-knit community, and they all and getting to share that and come back and reminisce, and then to do it at a football game. There's just so many cool things that surround it. They do a really, really good job with it.
Yeah, really fun. So that's Rutgers weekend. That's homecoming. Is when that group will be honored on the field before the game. So be sure to be there when all these fine athletes get inducted into the Hall of Fame. Woodhouse Auto Family, they are your trusted auto partner. 20 brands, 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. We're back for the final segment. Sorry, folks, no joke tonight. That might have left the building with Cole. We're trying to figure out something, but Cole was the joke maker, so no joke coming your way tonight. But we'll come back and wrap up tonight's show next.
The Make It Ford Summer Sales Event is on. So make it your best summer ever with Ford. Get your ideal combination of power and capability. And experience hands-free highway driving technology with Ford Blue Cruise, available on select vehicles. It's the Make It Ford Summer Sales Event, so make it yours. Make it now. Make it 0% APR financing. Make it a zero down payment, and make it no payments for up to 90 days on select Ford vehicles. Only at your local Ford dealer.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm broadcasting major Macy Byers with Campus News. A surgical robot developed by UNL professor Shane Ferreter has received FDA approval, paving the way for greater access to advanced medical procedures in rural areas. The FDA approval followed a successful test of the robot aboard the International Space Station in February. The test involved months of preparation for UNL faculty and students working in close collaboration with NASA to launch and deliver the robot.
Get ready to rule the field and revolutionize your farming game with Valley, the game changer in irrigation and ag tech solutions. With time and labor-saving measures, ground-truthing results, and effective input reduction, Valley provides the perfect game plan so you stay ahead of what's in the field. From the best in irrigation and cutting-edge ag tech solutions to personalized support, Valley is your winning team. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rule is bringing innovation and high-performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the same in the field by welcoming Fendt to Nebraska.
Our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Akrs. They are the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs solutions for every field. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody back with you. Final few minutes of our Thursday show. It's our last show of the week. We'll have a women's basketball matchup tomorrow night for you to listen back to for the Big Ten tournament when they beat Maryland in the semifinals. So that'll be fun for you to listen to tomorrow night. We'll be back with a full show for you on Monday night. On a sad note, mentioned this earlier in the program, Monty Kiffin, the father of Lane Kiffin, but former Husker defensive coordinator and longtime NFL defensive coordinator, did pass away earlier today at the age of 84. One of the great defensive football minds of all time, and a connection to Husker football back to the Bob Devaney years as a member of that staff of the 70-71 Husker National Championship teams. And Monty was a good guy. Met him a couple of different times, and he always had a great affinity for Nebraska. Grew up in Lexington, And sad to hear that. Much happier note, Jess, one of your favorite programs of the year, the ESPYs, is on tonight. I'm sure you're just delighted that that's here tonight.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's one of my favorite programs, but I enjoy watching it. It's always during the time when there's nothing going on, right? But I did look it up. Volleyball in Nebraska does not appear to be nominated. I know they were trying to make a push to get that nominated, but it is not. It's, I guess, best record-breaking performance would be the category, and it's the 49ers, Christian McCaffrey, TD in record 17 consecutive games. Iowa's Caitlin Clark becomes NCAA's all-time leading scorer. Stanford's Tara Vanderveer gets win number 1203 to pass Mike Krzyzewski for most in NCAA history, and the F1 races, the 10 consecutive F1 races by Max Verstappen. I don't know. Didn't even know about that.
He's dominant in Formula racing, so that he's really, really good. There's some controversy around this year's ESPYs. It relates to the Pat Tillman Award, which is given every year to an athlete for courage and battling through something. This year's recipient, have you heard about this?
No.
This year's recipient is Prince Harry. And people are appalled. You're like, what? You're giving him this courage award? A lot of people asked for him to decline it. He did not. I don't know if he's there. I don't have my TV on here
Harry
with me right
of the Britain royalty? Or no?
Yes. Yes.
Does he play a sport?
I guess, he does those Invictus games, which are kind of Olympics for disabled people, military people that are disabled. That's a wonderful cause. He's been doing it for about 10 years, but everybody's kind of like, what? We got all these marvelous stories about people that have overcome some great tragedies, and you're going to award a member of the royal family with his Pat Tillman Award tonight, and so he might get booed. I mean, if he's there, there's a lot of people, a lot of prominent athletes came out and said, you need to turn this down. This should not be something you're winning, but he is. People were pretty appalled when that thing came out, so I kind of follow that royal stuff, Jess. That's kind of, one of my little hobbies is kind of following the royal. By the way, did your mom watch episode 1 of The Bachelorette the other night?
I have not asked her. I knew you were going there next. So you've got a royalty, guilty pleasure, and The Bachelor. Who would have
I've not seen it either, so I recorded it. I haven't seen it yet.
Wow. So I don't follow. I think Cassidy, somebody that we work with, has kind of a fascination with the royals. I have never been into that, so I couldn't tell you. That's why I was had to think about who Prince Harry was.
He's the redhead who married the actress from Hollywood. They live in California right now, but it's silly that whoever came up with that decision to honor him, that's a bad decision. So
Duke is the intern that is the Bachelor guy.
Yeah, he is.
Right?
I got to get him back. I got to get Duke back.
When am I getting Duke back? What?
When am I getting Duke back? I need him back in town.
Well, he works with the football team, so it's got to be soon, but he's the intern that does the Bachelor stuff. He also is the one that did the joke, so maybe we can figure out a segment with Duke when he gets back.
Let's come up with a clever name for it. I mean, we never really got a clever name for Cole. We needed a whole little open built for that. We kind of fumbled that, but if we can get Duke to do it, come up with a creative name and come up with a little open for him. And he actually, I wasn't there the night he did it, but you said he was good. That was probably the hardest I laughed at a joke this entire year that we've been doing it. Some of them go way over my head, but that one was hilarious. I laughed really loud. Don't tell that to
I didn't
Cole.
see it coming, and the way he did it, he did a good job. So maybe we give him another shot at it. I don't know. And
Duke,
maybe
if you're
instead of
listening,
a
we need
weekly
you back,
segment,
buddy.
it's a monthly segment or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Jess, have a good weekend. We'll do this all Monday.
All right, sounds good. Have a good one.
Camden, thank you. Thanks to all of you. Have a great weekend. We'll be back with you on Monday night. Good night.
Shop Woodhouse Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Blair and Bellevue during the Make This the Summer event going on right now. Browse our full lineup of SUVs like the confident and spacious new Jeep Grand Cherokee L with third row seating, offering plenty of room for the entire family on your summer adventures. Visit one of our 2 convenient locations in Blair or Bellevue, or start your car buying journey online at WoodhouseCDJRBellevue.com or WoodhouseChryslerJeepDodge.com today. Serving our customers since 1991, this is Woodhouse.
Hi, this is Husker National Champion and Super Bowl champ Tony Veland. Throughout my football career, chiropractic care helped my athletic performance on the field and kept me in the game. Today, regular chiropractic care keeps me healthy and active to do the things I love. Chiropractic is safe and effective for all ages. Make chiropractic your first choice to reduce pain, improve your mobility, and feel better naturally. It works for me, and it can work for you too. Learn more at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Stay active with chiropractic.
Hi, I'm a baseball umpire. My job can get pretty stressful. I have to keep my eyes open at all times, and if I don't make the right call, people boo me. So to relax, I visit a Nebraska lottery retailer like this one and buy some scratch tickets. It always calms me down. Hey, you cut in line.
I did not.
All right, you're out of here.
Hey, he didn't cut.
All right, you're out of here. I feel better already.
The Nebraska Lottery. Top prize odds vary by game.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription, or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
This is the Huskers Radio Network.